My story begins in Queens, New York. I was born to Robin Edmonds and Reginald Wilson. Both of my parents, they got messed up on drugs at an early age.
I know that it's been difficult. This is your moment for a miracle.
So I was with my grandmother. I was between my father's mother and my mother's parents, and they literally live a couple of blocks from each other. So I would stay with my father's parents on the weekdays, and I would go to school there, and on the weekends I would literally walk down the block and stay with my mother's parents. I had a good childhood. There was some ups, there were some downs, but all in all, it was still good. From there, I moved to South Carolina with my grandmother because they realized if they didn't get me out of New York, I was going to start getting into trouble. Ever since I was little, I knew that I was called to sing. I didn't know why at the time because I was young, but I just loved music. I wrote my first song when I was 5, and I sung it in church. I wrote it right on the spot. I remember coming home from summer camp, and I heard a group back in the day called The Boys, and they were kids, and I heard them on the radio, and I was like, wow, that's what I want to do. I didn't even realize as kids that you can do that. So I was just amazed by that, and I knew from there that's what I wanted to do. And then when I heard Michael Jackson, it was all over. My neighbor bought me Michael Jackson's Bad album, and I used to play it and sing it all the time and dance all the time, and I just loved music. I loved everything about it. Little did I know that was just a worshiper in me ready to come out, a praiser in me ready to come out. But at the time, I didn't know about it. When I was 15, I was doing everything up until that point, trying to get all I wanted was a record deal. I didn't even want the money and the fame at the time. I just wanted to sing. I just wanted to do what I loved to do at the time. And I remember I went to a band banquet with this girl, and there was a producer there, and everybody was like, Mike, go ahead and sing, go ahead and sing. So I said, all right. And I went and sung for him, and he was like, you know what? I want you to send me a demo. When I get back, I want you to send me a demo. So I went and recorded a demo, didn't think much of it, sent it to him. Little did I know, he called me back like 2 weeks later and said, hey, I want to sign you. And little did I know that his company was with a major company in New York City. And I signed the contract, I started recording, I started hanging out with different stars, and I was thinking, man, this is the life. But then God, I'll never forget when I signed that deal. My grandmother, she wasn't too happy because she was like, you need to be singing for the Lord. I was like, I ain't trying to sing no gospel music. I'm hanging with stars, I'm hanging with celebrities. And she was like, I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray for you. And at that time, we had just joined a new church, and the preacher there too, he was like, you got an anointing on your life, and you need to be singing gospel. And I'm like, yeah, all right, well, whatever. And I went back to New York, and I started recording the CD, and everything was going good. And then one of the producers said, hey, we need you to write something that's just real sexual. And something in me was like, I didn't want to do that. I was writing love songs, and I thought, okay, that's cool. But now they want to get me into more hard stuff. And I thought, man, it's not really what I want to do. But I went ahead and did it. Everybody loved the song, and I'll never forget being back on the train, going back from Brooklyn to Queens, and something in me just did not feel right. Something in me just felt like, God, why do I feel like this? And I had to literally go and pray and see why I felt like that. And I knew he was calling me at that point. All right, so as I was recording the CD, I asked some of the producers and music execs, hey, can I go back and visit my grandmother? Because they wanted me to come back and do a release party for a popular artist. So I said, cool, that's no problem. But can I go back and visit my grandma for like a week or two? And they were like, yeah, sure, just make sure you're back. So I went down back to South Carolina, and my grandma said, I'm so glad you're here, but come with me to Bible study tonight. And I was like, well, Grandma, I really don't want to go to Bible study tonight. She was like, well, just come. So I said, okay, and I went with her to Bible study, and as the preacher was preaching, One thing he said was, music was never made for entertainment. Its first purpose was to worship God. And at that moment, my whole spirit froze, and I knew without a shadow of a doubt that God was saying, okay, enough is enough. Take my anointing, what I've given you, and reach the people. And that's where I'm at. My first independent CD was called Reflection. It was literally done on a shoestring budget. We just went into the studio and pounded it out in 4 to 5 hours. And man, it opened up a lot of doors, and it showed me a lot of things. I had a lot of great experiences with it. I even had a top 5 single, Overcome the World, from it. It was a great experience. It really grew me as an artist, but not only as an artist, it grew me as a worshiper. It grew me as a praiser. And it made me who I am. My second CD, Get It Back, was just another EP that I put out, and I really took that one to another level. I'm real proud of that. I call that like my baby. Even though it wasn't my first, I consider that my baby. And it just shows so much growth of what God was doing in my life. And it's absolutely one of my favorite CDs. Man, I would not be where I am at right now at this point in my life without my wife, Chrissy, without my daughter, Heavenly. What a gift God has given me. And also my grandmother, man, for just raising me and keeping me out of trouble. I am working on some new music. Just really taking my time, make sure I put stuff out that is quality. Most important, that's anointed, that's going to minister to the people. And just really give more of me as an artist, more of me as a person. It's going to be a lot more personal. And I'm just looking forward to the future.
This is the moment, the hour, the feeling of power, of greatness that's rising up inside of me.